Tubal views, thank you, thank you, thank you. Today we're going to be working on a little searay, nothing big, 19, 21 feet, something like that, probably even tells me. The light today was awful. I've got sun right here, but there's some clouds rolling in, and then so I didn't really want to take the chance that I could compound this with a wool pad and not have any swirls. Now this is a side that I haven't done, and it's funny to me because the owner of this boat told me that it was in great shape and it didn't have any oxidation. No oxidation. None. Not even this. This is, I guess, glorious, glorious shine. And it just needs a wax. So, okay, I charged him for just a wax. But I'm not going to send this out of the shop looking like garbage, so I decided to try something a little bit different. And because the light was so bad, I'm going to use a foam pad. And the reason that I'm using a foam pad is because it's a little bit more controllable. It does have a tendency to build up a little bit of heat when you get around decals and vinyl, and it has a tendency to cut into gel coat if it's on an edge and it gets a little bit too much friction between it and the boat. So I've taped everything off. I'm just going to put the perfected ACEX directly on the gel coat, grab my buffer, which I've already cleaned out the pad, and I'm going to start spreading this out. And it's pretty much the same thing I've done before. You've seen it. I start spreading it out, I work my edges, then I cross cut, and then I smooth out. Now with a foam pad, it takes a little bit more time. That being said, allow it to take more time. If you try to force this, you're going to ruin something. You're going to ruin your pad, you're going to ruin the decals, you'll burn the boat. Just go slow. Go slow and have fun, and enjoy the I don't know, liquid fluid motion that you can develop with a foam pad on gel coat. And it's great for these contoured top sides. A wool pad can do it too, don't get me wrong, but a foam pad has an ability to kind of force itself to the shape of the boat a little bit easier and put a more uniform cutting surface behind it as you make a pass. So they have a place. I don't use them very often. They wear out fairly quickly, and yeah, there's all sorts of dangers and stuff that comes with them. So I generally don't tell people how to use them, or that they even should. If, however, you want to get something really, really nice and you don't have the light that you need, go ahead and cheat. And by cheat, I mean do a better job. It just takes a little bit longer. So, how much pressure am I putting on this? Well, not that much. Picture the weight of the buffer, and all I'm doing is controlling where that weight rests. If you push too hard on foam, you compress it and make it virtually useless. So, I allow the foam to be foam. I don't smash it into a plastic sheet. And I like the fact that it stays a little bit malleable so that I can smash it into and around these corners and crevices. You might also note that I am not speeding up the buffer at any point. It stays slow, around 600 to 700 revolutions per minute, and that's it. I'm not trying to build up heat on the surface of my pad. I'm not trying to build up heat on the surface of the boat. If I was trying to build up heat, these decal pinstripes would be gone. But notice, they're still there, even though I'm compounding with a foam pad. In all honesty, I probably could have stopped about 3 minutes ago, but because the light started to fade, because the clouds started to roll in, I wasn't entirely confident that what I had done was what I wanted to do. So at this point, I'm basically going over everything to satisfy my OCD and to make sure that it feels right. And if you guys have been buffing for any length of time, sorry, and gals, have been buffing for any length of time, you'll know that, yeah, you can see the results. Sometimes, if you're really good and you pay attention, you can hear the results, and sometimes you can feel them. So that's what I was doing, going a little bit above and beyond, and if I saw something, go ahead, put a little bit more perfected on there and grind it out. But, like I said, the light wasn't perfect for this. It was a little bit overcast and quite gray. About 5 minutes after this filming, actually maybe 10 minutes after this, it actually started to rain. We got a little hail. So we brought the boat inside and turned the lights on. That was a lot easier. We probably should have done that in the beginning. Because I know that the forward section is the next section that I'm going to be hitting, I'm going to dip a little bit into that. So it's not actually the quote section that I'm working on, but because it's adjacent to the section that I am working on, I'm going to go ahead and push over into it a little bit. And then when I'm working on that section around that cleat, I'll push into this section that I'm working on right now. I do this to blend in the two sections that I've compounded. And if you do it right, you just can't tell where one section starts and the other begins. And kind of that's the goal, right? I mean, like any magician, you don't want to show how you did the trick. And when people show up and grab their boat and it looks brand new, I don't want them to have any sense of how I accomplished whatever it is that they see. I want it to be a mystery. I want them to have to come back to me and not think to themselves, oh, I could do this with some turtle wax. Or, better yet, some spray-on ceramic. Ugh. And like I said, now we're moving forward up by this cleat. I'm going to go ahead and start just the same way we've been doing it for a long, long time. I'm going to apply my product onto the boat. I'm going to start buffing, working my edges first after spreading the product out, and I'll do a couple cross cuts. Not much. The foam pad doesn't cross cut as aggressively as, say, a wool pad. At the same time, it does cross cut, and it is still a process that I use, so I still use it. Edges, 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 cross cut, smoothing. That's the plan, and that's what I'm going to be doing. After this, clean the boat, Dawn dishwashing soap, a little bit of water, some decent elbow grease. Make sure to get all the oils from the compound out of the gel coat. Then we'll dry it, and then I came back over this with, let's see, I think it was Flagship by Meguiar's, and I applied it by hand, but removed it with a random orbital polisher. But the random orbital polisher wasn't there to take off all the wax. I basically get it down to a glossy sheen, and then I take it off with a really, really soft microfiber towel. And I do that by hand. For something like this, it's not really a chore. It's eye level. You can reach everything, see everything. And it's no big deal to make sure that you do it without leaving swirls or oil marks from the rag as you wipe it. That little clicking noise that you were hearing was the cleat actually touching the back of the backing plate. There's a black plastic hard section of the backing plate, and that's what the noise that you hear. That's what that is. No damage, nothing's getting broken. The only damage is my ego. I hate making noises and doing stuff like that because people around the area will look at you like you're doing something wrong. We're not doing anything wrong. It's just natural buffing stuff. Leave me alone. I assume you guys are getting kind of bored watching this, so I'm just going to talk a little bit and say some stuff a little random out of the blue. This month, it's my birthday. I know I joke that I'm almost 50. I'm actually going to turn 50 or 48 this month. So yay, happy birthday to me. And I can still do this. And there's guys out there and gals doing this who are older than I am. And there's people out there doing it who are younger than I am. There are people out there all day long trying to figure out how to do this. And you'll notice I didn't wet sand. I haven't used 3 or 4 different compounds to achieve this. I haven't switched wheels or switched pads or moved to a flex forced rotation or a random orbital. I haven't done any of those things. Why? Because the compound and that foam pad and that buffer do just about everything that I need them to do to make that boat look amazing. The only thing missing is me. Luckily, I was there, so it's all good. And speaking of not boring you, here are the results. I apologize that I didn't show you everything. I was in a rush. The owner of this boat was coming to pick it up. But please take note that there's no swirls. And yes, it's slightly a cloudy, high cloudy day. But there's no swirls. You would see swirls if there were some. I promise you there were none, although you're just taking my word for it. But you got about 190 some odd videos that you can verify. Generally, when Lee says there's no swirls, there's no swirls. So again, this was taken down with Perfected ACEX or EXAC, and after that, cleaned and waxed. Thanks for watching.